Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. I'm here with the beautiful Laura. Hi, and today we're going to talk about self-love and about connection. Welcome at the Connected Community. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I mean, this is like our villa right now, and this is so amazing. It's so beautiful, you guys. And I'm so happy that we're here right now because we already filmed this and it didn't really work out last time. So this is the second try.
That's the thing, right? When you start something, and for me, starting interviewing these people, you figured out that you fail sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work. And I was very upset. I was like, shit, we fucked up this interview.
That's all right.
And yeah, so we're like, okay, we have to do it again. And that's the thing. If you start something, be prepared. And yeah, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fall, and just stick true and be like, okay. Happened, we learned from it, and now we're here doing it again. So thank you again for your time and your energy.
Of course. Anytime. I would do it like 20 times for you.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about you?
Yes, of course. So hi guys, I'm Laura Herde. I'm originally from Germany, but I just recently moved to Bali. And I'm also a coach for women who feel stuck in life and who want to take their lives to the next level through mindset, self-love, and also spiritual connection. So this is perfect because we're going to talk about that today. Yes. And I'm excited.
Yeah, so Laura's a coach, and I met Laura actually here in Bali through like the connection of people.
Another friend, right? You connected us. It's like everything is so right. It's all about connection, you guys.
Yeah, so it's so good. And yeah, tell me, like, how did you get into being a self-love mindset spiritual coach?
Right, so how I got into the topic, maybe let's start off with that. That was actually like 4 years ago, I think. So little background story, I went vegan 5 years ago, and that already changed a lot for me, like mindset wise. And I started like really questioning myself and looking deeper into who I was at that point, because I felt really lost when I was younger. So I was like, this is interesting, who am I actually? So I started this whole personal growth and like self-development journey, right? And that was about 4 years ago, let's say. And like part of that for me was also self-love, because I used to have like a very, very low self-esteem. I really did not know, like I could not name a single thing that I would love about myself. Like it was really bad, and like just mentally I was just not in a really good place. So I figured like if I ever want to be truly happy and live a fulfilled life, then I need to change something about myself, and not about myself externally, but rather about my mindset first. So that's how it started for me, and from there it just grew, and I eventually started sharing my journey and my passions on Instagram, right? Like that's what you do these days. I guess you just like go on Instagram, just kidding. But no, for me
it works. Instagram is not working for us today. I don't know what's going on in Indonesia.
The government.
Instagram. Time out.
That's also a sign to just like not look at it maybe for a day. That's also fine. But for me back then, I was the last person in my class to like download this app on my phone, and but then I applied for a study course for 3 years that was media communication and journalism. And so this professor, he suggested me to be on a social platform, to kind of be like, you know, some sort of a journalist already, or like to already practice writing and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is scary. Like I don't want to do this. I don't want to share anything personal. That was literally me back then. I did not want anyone to know anything, because I was so scared of my past and of who I was at that point, and like everything I went through, depression, like self-harm, self-destructive like thought patterns, behaviors. I was going through a lot of shit, or just like a few years before that, but I just felt like I was no one to share anything to anyone, because I felt like I have nothing interesting to say, and I felt like ashamed of who I was, and especially who I was a few years before that, going through depression, having no friends. So I did not want anyone to know, right? And also like I was ashamed of being vegan back then, because I was the only one, and I felt so lonely, and I barely had any like good friends. So I just like really isolated myself, and so I was like, no, I don't want to be like in public, right? But then eventually I figured like I can just do like, I don't have to do it under my own name like Laura Herde. I can literally just like use a synonym. So that's what I did, and that made it easier for me to start. So I started like sharing my meals and sharing my lifestyle and what I was interested in, and like mindset. And that grew over time because I did it really consistently. It was literally just like my personal outlet of like creativity and like sharing my thoughts, and people would resonate, and that really made me happy and gave me like a lot of value back to like see people resonating with it and like interacting and engaging and being like, wow, this really inspired me. I was like, wow, that's cool. Like, why would I inspire someone? It was so cool. Yeah. And back then, like that would make my entire day, and it still does. Like still up to this day when someone's commenting like, wow, like this caption just really changed something, or like, wow, now I feel like a different person. Like, I don't know, it sounds so cheesy, but I was like, oh my gosh, my heart, like that.
Yeah, it's fulfilling, right? It's fulfilling if you can help, you can inspire someone, and definitely if you come from like such a like dark side, and that's actually probably also like we spoke a lot, right? So that's also probably your turning point, right? When you like share some stuff, like, and then you flip, it just flips you. Yeah, and I'm just like, now I'm just like, wow, I really want to share, especially the low points in my life, because I feel like that's the most powerful. Because yes, like sharing my cool lifestyle and traveling and being in Bali and like, you know, having all this freedom and like all this love for myself, that's great. But I feel like that's not really what's actually inspiring people and what most people can resonate with, because most people still have stuff to work through, and just seeing someone like living their best life, I mean, that's great and that's uplifting and also like probably motivational, because you're like, wow, like I want to get there, right? So that's amazing. But at the same time, I don't want to just like portray this perfect life, because that's just not what it is behind the scenes. Like we know that because we know each other and we know each other's weaknesses, so we know like kind of what each other is going through. But most people just don't show that on Instagram. Or just like, see the outside, right? So it's also
a highlight reel.
Yeah, it's the superficial stuff, like the picture on the beach with the coconut, which is like, we're enjoying that for sure.
Totally. And that's also part of the real life, but it's not the whole picture. It's
not the whole picture. That's like, and people going through so much stuff, and we don't share this. We're so connected with social media and seeing all this beautiful stuff, but so disconnected with our real selves, because people don't share that shit. Yeah. People don't, like, we're not gonna show on Instagram like when we're crying. We're not doing that, or like when we're like not having the best day. But that's the thing that's real, and that's the thing that we have all shit that we go through, and like
that's
traumas
what actually connects people,
and
like
that's
the real shit.
People,
the real shit, like
the real shit,
and
the real you.
Yeah, totally. And that's my mission now, to like show the real me and show my low days and talk about all these things that are not really comfortable necessarily to talk about, but that I feel like that bring other people the most value, because people just see how I deal with my hardships and with my struggles. Like a close family member passed away a few weeks ago, and I shared parts of that, like not the entire thing obviously, because I still had to like process it myself, but also like just showing people like, guys, like I'm not fine, like I'm not okay, and that's also okay to not be okay. Like allow yourself to be human and to be vulnerable and raw, and like just that people are like, okay, so her life is also not perfect, because I used to get these messages like every single day, and now I don't really get them anymore, like at least not on a daily basis, maybe like once a month, because I started sharing my low points like I think 9 months ago. I started like regularly doing that, and people are like, wow, like that's powerful. And I really want to make that my mission, to show people you can bloom and enjoy life through imperfections and through struggles and through hardships, because that's where the growth lies. Yes. And growth is everything to me. It's like one of my biggest like values actually. So I'm like, I'm embracing it, and I'm enjoying, in a weird way, enjoying it, because I know like in the moment it sucks and it's so hard and you would like wish it away, but after you won't, because it shaped you, because it changed you, because you're like, wow, now I'm a new person, and like
it gives you the inspiration and it gives you the experience. And experience makes you grow, either if it's a good one or a bad one. In your opinion, it makes you grow anyway, in which direction it is. And I think that's something beautiful as well, and
so valuable,
being so vulnerable is something we don't do a lot, and it's very scary. Like I've been doing that lately on my Instagram, being like, posting stories on anxiety, and like, I don't feel good, guys. Like, how do you guys deal with anxiety? And like, it's actually telling the world, like, I deal with shit and it's not fun and I need help. Like, guys, help me. And it's like, it's so scary. Help. Like, it's so scary because people don't do that. People
people are like, I'm fine.
Ask for help. They're just like,
my gosh, I just spilled my water.
people are like, oh, look at me eating this smoothie bowl or like whatever, but then behind the pictures they're dealing with their weight or not feeling pretty and like, or posting bikini shots but feeling depressed. Like,
true,
you don't know what's behind it, and that vulnerability to share, that's scary. That's scary. That's like standing naked in front of everybody, right?
It is.
That's how it feels. But it's
we should all be more naked.
Yeah, don't go and stay naked in front of people. But I mean, like, try to be vulnerable and
have a naked soul. Like, just like
yes.
speak your mind. Like, literally, because we all came to this planet for a reason, and that is most likely connection and to learn, experience life. Like, that's why we're here, to enjoy, experience, and make connections. Like, for me, that's my life purpose. Like, connection is like one of my #1 purposes. And like,
so how do you connect in this world where we're so so many people are so disconnected? How do you connect?
Just by talking to people. Like, literally, even just like at Finn's in the locker room, like where people are changing clothes, I'm like, hey, I really like your sport outfit, or like, wow, you're in a really great shape. I did that the other day in that class, and she was so happy, and she gave me her card, and then we're messaging on Instagram, and I'm like, wow, this is, and that was so weird. I had never, like, it was never my intention to like message with her, right? Like, I was just like generally saying like, wow, you're in a great shape.
Giving someone a compliment.
Right.
Like, nowadays it's so rare.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, why would you not do that? Oh, like yesterday, like I was chatting to the other girl in the locker room, and it's so weird. I'm always talking to random people, and some people would be like, why would she do that? But I'm just like naturally drawn to new people and like talking to them, like getting to know their story. And like, I found that I just find that maybe that's a journalist in me because I studied it for 3 years. I don't know.
I mean, it's something that we find so strange when people come up to us and talk to us like, what do they want from us? This is the first reaction a lot of times, and that's weird.
Like,
because
why?
Like, we're not afraid of looking in other people's pictures and commenting them and be like, oh, that's not weird. But talking to the person next to you is like, okay,
life,
where's my purse? You know, it's like what's going on here? If you think about it, it's so weird.
It's fucked up, yeah. Sorry guys for saying that, but it's fucked up. Just think about it. And like, I feel like real life connections just give me so much more value. I mean, honestly, I have to admit, most of my close friends, I met them kind of through Instagram. Like, not gonna lie here. But like, just like loser connections, most of them in real life, just through like mutual friends or on a party or talking to someone at random places. Like, even just in Germany at the bus station, I would talk to people for like half an hour where the bus wouldn't come. Like, I'm like, wow, that's like, that is what life is about. Like, just connections and learning from each other, like their experiences and their stories. I find that so interesting, and I think that also makes us realize like everyone's just so human. And especially when we're seeing like a super beautiful person, we're like, wow, I adore them. And then when you talk to them, you will realize they're also just human. Like, it's just that, it's just their body. Like, why do we always like, you know, see someone and we have like, sometimes like, I even used to be that person who would see someone and like be intimidated by someone who's really beautiful and not be able to go up to them. But if there's someone where I was like, oh, like they're not like intimidating me, I'm like, I would be more likely to go up to them. Like, that's so stupid. Like, I mean, that's just what a person looks like. Like, fuck, why?
And it's unfair as well for
it's
the person you
unfair.
feel intimidated by, because they maybe feel intimidated too because of people not coming up to them. And it's so weird, but like, words are energy, and words are so powerful. Like, one sentence, like for example, you going up to a woman in the locker room and be like, hey, I love your body, you have such a good shape. That can change someone's life. And it's weird because maybe that person is dealing or struggling with their body, or like, like they don't,
you never know.
You don't know. Like, it's so powerful. Words are so powerful, and we just don't communicate that much with each other. Why are we getting like so disconnected with others and also ourselves?
I think that is actually the root cause. We're disconnected from ourselves, and that's why we're disconnected from others. Because for me, when I used to struggle with depression or with all these like inner battles that I had, I was not able to go up to people. I was not able to make others compliments. I would honestly, when I was younger, I would be jealous. I would literally wish to have someone else's life. And I was just like completely like, I disliked everything about myself, about my reality that I was creating, which makes sense because I didn't like myself. So how can I like my reality if I don't like myself, right? So I was like, I need to change that. And it all starts with me liking myself, accepting myself, valuing myself, seeing my worth, defining my worth, my values.
How did you start getting that? Like, it's a change, right? Going from there to like loving yourself.
Totally.
Like, for people
it's
watching,
a journey.
What is like some tricks or some advice you can give them?
Right, so first of all, I have to point out that this is a journey and it does not happen overnight, because most people are like, oh, I'm just gonna do some self-care, then I'm gonna love myself and then everything is gonna be fine. You know, it's like, no, it's
you had this pattern for not loving yourself for years. It's not gonna be one night and you'll be like, oh,
no,
I feel amazing.
Right, maybe for a moment, but it won't be consistent and like long-term, and we want long-term results. So for long-term results, you need to be consistent, like with everything in life. If you ever want to get ahead in life, no matter which area, you need to be consistent and you need to know your why. So for me, my why, my motivation, my drive was that I just wanted a better life quality, right? Like I was just like, I just want to feel a connection with myself and like this person that I actually am, because I just felt like I was living someone else's life and up to other people's expectations, and how they would see me would define how I would see myself. So I was like, I need to distance myself. So the first step for me was distancing myself from people who would see me in a way that I didn't want to see myself anymore. So I was like kind of cutting contact. I was like, no, I need to just be for me, by myself, and that really helped, because
so changing your tribe as well,
your environment,
people that doesn't resonate with you anymore, which is hard, but it's so important and necessary.
Yeah, that's the first step, and if you don't do that, you will always kind of like see yourself through their eyes, and you don't want that anymore, especially when they're influencing your behaviors, what you're saying. And I didn't want to be that people pleaser anymore, so I was like, no, I'm just gonna look at myself and see, what do I like, what do I think, because I would always say what people would expect me to say to be liked and to get approval, right? And I was like, no. So let's start from the beginning. Who am I? Who's Laura? What's important to Laura? What does Laura like? What does Laura think about certain topics? And like I really ask myself all these like crucial core questions that I'm also asking my clients in the first session, like, who are you? What's your identity? Because most people don't even know. Like, it sounds like stupid, right? But it's not, because it's normal these days. It's okay to not know yourself, but then also make an effort to change that. So I'm like, okay, who am I? I like literally wrote it all out. I love journaling. For all of you guys who know me, I love my journals. Love some good journals to get to know yourself.
I didn't do that for a long time. I just started journaling this year, and there's so much that came up for me, because you're totally in your head all the time. And you don't write things down, so you forget what you were thinking about. So by journaling, you write it down, you look at it, and I'm like, I see a pattern here.
Going on in my mind.
This is coming up for a few days now. I need to work on this. I need to flip the thought I'm having of, like, for example, not feeling enough. If I write about that 3 days in a row that comes up for me, then I know I need to start flipping it and start telling myself and working on it that I'm worthy.
Yeah, totally. So actually that's really powerful, like these I am statements, like I am not worthy, I'm not good enough. Like, reframe them, like literally write down, I am worthy, I am good enough, because as you just said, like, words are so powerful and they're creating our reality, and they can actually like reframe our subconscious mind. So like, so many people come to me like, oh, how can I reset my mind, how can I like create new subconscious beliefs? I'm like, it all starts with affirming what you want to affirm, like who you want to be. I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I know who I am, I know my worth. And then repeating that over and over again, because your subconscious can't really tell if something is a truth or just like something you're telling yourself, right?
They don't know the difference.
The subconscious mind just does not know the difference, so you can shape it the way you want to, and that's the beauty. If you know that, you know the secret to success in life, basically. So
and it's gonna first sound so stupid telling yourself that you accept yourself or you love yourself. If you don't, you'll be like, no, I don't really do.
I'm lying to myself.
I'm lying to myself.
Right.
And
that's
your
okay.
subconscious doesn't know that.
No.
That's the fun part. They don't know that. So like, or it, or they, or whatever it is.
It's many.
So tell yourself this every day for a month. Make it a challenge for yourself to do it.
21 days.
You have nothing to lose.
Right? Totally.
Try it.
And I tried it and I was like, wow, this is actually powerful, because I started seeing myself differently. I was not really believing it in the beginning, but I was like, I'm feeling different, I'm acting different, I'm saying different things, like what's happening? Slowly, like it was not overnight, it was not like huge changes, but I could definitely notice a difference. So I was like, wow, let's keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
So I kept doing it for months and months and months, and eventually like 2 years, and I was like, I am a different person.
Yes.
Like, and I would read through old journals, and I was like, this is actually what I thought about myself. Oh my god, like I had such a low self-esteem and like no self-acceptance whatsoever. And like actually affirming that I accept myself helped me be more vulnerable and raw with my imperfections and confronting people with it. So whenever someone would say something and I'm like, or call me out for something, I'm like, oh, actually you're right, like yeah, I should work on that and I want to work on it, thank you for pointing that out. And before I would be like, no, like super defensive, and my ego like, no, I'm okay, it's you, it's not me, you know, like super defensive. And like I would literally like kind of justify myself, and now I don't feel that need anymore, because I'm like, yep, I'm human, I made a mistake, you're right, I'm gonna work on it, I'm sorry, thank you for understanding. Like that's just how I'm communicating, and that's so powerful, because that allows you to make real connections. Because if you're constantly protecting yourself and like in your ego and operating from your ego, your friends will be like, but you did make a mistake, and you're like, no, I'm fine, like I'm good, like, you know, I'm perfect. Your friends will be like, really, like it's gonna be frustrating for your social connections. So it's important to acknowledge, okay, that's what I did and that's what I can work on, and that's an opportunity for growth. And it's not that I'm like failing or that I'm like, you know, like that I'm a bad person. No, it's just you living in your ego sometimes. My voice is like slowly fading, but that's all right. So yeah,
it's like your ego and your soul are like, I don't know how it's like your angel and your devil on your shoulder. Can I say that?
Totally.
And like,
I love that. Yeah.
It depends on who you listen to. Like, if you're gonna listen to your ego, it's not gonna bring you a lot of connection with yourself. But if you listen to the sweet little angel on your shoulder, you'll be able to connect more with yourself and with others. And your ego is not a long-term thing. So if you're like, oh, but I'm good or I'm better than someone, okay, what is that gonna bring you in the long term?
So don't be angry at your ego, and don't feel like, oh, I need to like, you know, completely get rid of it. No, like the ego is actually serving a healthy purpose. I just talked about that with a friend the other day. Like it's great because it also motivates us to step outside of our comfort zone. For example, my ego was like, girl, do you really think you can move to Bali? Do you really think it's not possible for you? Because I was like, who am I to move to Bali? Who am I to like, you know, run my business from there and like just like do life there, and like it's so scary.
Some limited beliefs here.
Right. And then like my ego was literally like, you know, kind of like challenging me, and then I was like, oh, you're right, ego, like why should I not? So ego can also like serve a purpose, and that's powerful, but don't let it like rule your mind and like control you in a negative and a limiting way. So if it's pushing you, great. Good job, ego. If it's like limiting you and holding you back, check in again. Like, can I
with your consciousness at that point?
Right, and especially your subconscious, because your subconscious always like it controls everything. You're not really aware of it, but it controls everything. You're conscious, you're more aware of it, but it doesn't really control a lot, because it's just like superficial stuff. Like in this conscious lies like all the deep shit that you probably need to work through in order to take your life to the next level. So that's what you need to work through, and that's what I'm doing with my clients. For example, I really let them dig deeper, because most people are just on the surface, and that's fine, because I used to be on that level for so long, so I get it, right? But it's also about like, do I want to make a change? Like if so, you need to put in the work. Otherwise, like nothing will change.
Yeah, it's true. You have to put in the work. And also to come back on that, ego is a good thing. It is. It's like that success and failure are both two good things at the same time. Like yin and yang. You need to have good and you need to have bad, and both are actually good, because
serving a purpose.
They're serving a purpose. And if there wasn't good, there wasn't bad, and if there wasn't bad, there wasn't good, because you wouldn't know the difference, right? So it's all serving a purpose. And a lot of times what I notice with my clients is that they're mad at themselves for feeling a certain way, like, shit, I listened to my ego, or shit, I did this, and like, oh, I shouldn't have been so stupid. Like,
the should-haves and could-haves will eat your brain.
This stuff, guys, you have to be kind to yourself, right? Call yourself out when you're
in a loving way.
In a loving way.
And and also sit with your emotions. You can feel angry. I get upset like all the time still, like it's okay, but then it just lasts for a few seconds. It used to last for like days. And I'm like, okay, this really upsets me, like I really want this to work. well, never mind. And that's like a quick change. So you can get annoyed, you can still be angry, you can still have feelings, like not so nice ones maybe. Like there's no such thing as bad feelings for me, because that's a label, like that's a box I put it into, and I don't want that in my life anymore. So I'm like, okay, this is just a feeling, like just like any other emotion. It's not good or bad, it just is, right? It just is what it is, and life is what you make it. So if you label something as good or bad, that's what it's gonna be for you, but because that's what your perception is in that moment. So for me, I'm just like, everything just is. Maybe it pisses me off, that's fine. I can let that go, and I can now let it go way more easily, because I'm able to surrender and accept what I can change, and just change what I can change. If I can't change it, I'm just gonna accept it and sit with it. But yeah, also failure, right? Like we talked about that last time actually when we didn't record the interview, but like it doesn't exist really, because it's just like, it's just a learning opportunity. It's just an opportunity for growth and for transformation, and it's no such thing as like, oh, I'm failing, I'm bad, like this is bad. Like it's not. It's an opportunity for you to try a different approach
and to do better.
To do better, become better, learn from it, because that lesson is so valuable for you, and it will take you to where you need to be. Because how can you know all the answers in the beginning, right? Like you are always a beginner at something if you've never done it before. So it's okay to fail, to experience those setbacks where you're like, oh, I'm wasting my time, like this is so annoying, I'm getting frustrated. No, that's all just part of the process. That's what you need to go through in order to become a master. So masters are really just people who've been failing over and over again, but never got tired of it, because they knew their why. Why am I doing this? This was so strong for me too. I've been doing this for years, and I was like, I'm not really seeing any results after like 2 years. Other people would quit after 2 weeks. I was doing it for 2 years. I was getting frustrated, but then I was like, honestly, I'm not getting the results I want, but it doesn't really matter, because it brings me so much joy in that moment, like sharing my passions and doing all of that, that it doesn't really matter if I get any results out of it. And that's where the beauty lies.
That's when you know when you're in alignment with doing what you love.
You're so purpose.
Don't losing enthusiasm. I never can. Enthusiasm. Oh my god, I cannot pronounce the word enthusiasm. Okay,
that's fine.
I accept it. I'll do it. I'll own it. No worries.
Right. Own it.
If you
own it,
don't lose that when failing every time, and don't lose it.
Let it make you get more excited, but maybe shift your approach. Like maybe try something else, because you can't do the same thing and expect different results. So maybe yes, you need to make small changes and see like, maybe this works, maybe this way works. But just keep trying, because otherwise if you're not trying, you've already like lost it.
You're already lost.
And that's when you're actually failing, when you're not trying. Because like failing, like actually failing in the process of doing, that's not a failure. That's like a good learning process.
Yeah, and self-love is something that comes from within, right?
Totally.
Take the time also to work on it, and to observe, mostly observe yourself, observe your thoughts, observe your life right now, and journal. Like that's how you can work on your process towards like loving yourself better and taking care of yourself better and knowing yourself better. It all will flow into this beautiful alignment.
Right, because when you're overflowing with love for yourself, you have so much more to give to others. That's
so
what I
much.
realized. Like since I love myself, I have the healthiest and best friendships in my life that I could honestly, like looking back a few years ago and having no friends, and like before having no friends, being like very jealous and like, you know, comparing myself, and I'm like so happy for my friends' successes. It feels like my own success, and I'm like, this is what actually friendship feels like, and this feels so freaking good. So honestly, like if you're overflowing, you have so much more to give, and everything will like just flow more naturally, and everything will benefit from this overflow of self-love. So give it a try, it's so worth it.
Guys, work on it. Work on your self-love and everything else in your life. Business, relationships, happiness. It's gonna like it's gonna bloom, and that's so important for you to be happy, and also to be connected to yourself and less disconnected to others.
Right, so that's our main advice. I hope you got some valuable content out of this, and some good lessons and some fun stories. So thank you for listening, you guys, and yeah, I'm excited to see all the other interviews. Honestly, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too, and thank you so much for being here.
Of
can
course.
you tell the audience where they can find you?
Yeah, so my main platform is Instagram right now, so you can check me out there. It's laura.herde, that's my name. And yeah, from there you can also find my link tree with my website if you want to apply for a coaching, or if you just want to chat and say hi, slide into my DMs. I'm happy to help. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you,
sweetie. Have a great day, guys. See ya.